Chosen ones, now listen this very carefully. Something has been shifting around you, quietly, almost invisibly. And if you've been feeling lonelier, more detached, or strangely disconnected lately, you're not imagining it. This isn't random. This is timing. There's a reason so many chosen ones across the world have felt their energy dip, their social circles thin, and their inner world turn louder than ever before. Because as we reach the mid of October, a line is being drawn, not in the calendar, but in your spirit. This is the month of separation. The moment where everything that's no longer aligned begins to fall away. Friends, habits, distractions, even pieces of your old self. It's a spiritual deadline that no one talks about, but everyone feels. You can sense it in the silence between texts that never come, in the sudden exhaustion that hits when you try to hold on to what no longer fits, in the quiet ache that whispers, "You're not supposed to be here anymore." And here's what's truly wild. The universe designed it this way. The mid of October, exactly in this particular week, isn't just another time frame. It's an energetic checkpoint. For months, the chosen ones have been stretched, tested, and stripped of anything built on false foundations. You may have felt rejected by people you cared about, or confused by how quickly connections faded. But those losses weren't punishment. They were purification. Is silence surrounding you right now? It's not emptiness. It's a spiritual echo, the sound that follows a massive shift in frequency. You're not being ignored. You're being refined. When your energy changes, everything that can't match your vibration naturally falls away. It's not that people dislike you. It's that your soul has outgrown the spaces where you used to belong. The mid of October acts like a divine sorting, pulling you out of circles, habits, and relationships that would hold you back from what's coming next. And what's coming next is not small, because next week carries new momentum, a surge that the chosen ones have been unconsciously preparing for all year. The silence you feel now is the runway being cleared. The isolation isn't punishment, it's alignment. Every unanswered call, every delayed plan, every night that felt like stillness was actually calibration. The universe has been fine-tuning you, raising your vibration, separating noise from necessity. So if your world feels quieter than usual right now, don't panic. Pay attention. That quiet is sacred. It's proof that you've crossed the threshold of this time. You've reached the edge of the old cycle, and everything that couldn't survive your next level has been left behind. What looks like loneliness is actually evolution. And that's where your story begins. Not with loss, but with clearing. Not with isolation, but with initiation. The middle of October isn't your breaking point. It's your turning point. Chosen ones, this whole week, you will notice that the quiet isn't just empty. It's teaching you. There's a rhythm to it, a lesson hidden inside every still moment. That's when you begin to understand that solitude isn't a punishment, it's training. The universe isn't trying to isolate you, it's refining you through stillness. Every chosen one eventually reaches this point, where loneliness transforms from an ache into an apprenticeship. You learn how to sit with your thoughts without needing to escape them. You start to notice the difference between company and connection, between attention and alignment. In this space, your senses sharpen. You begin to hear your intuition again, that quiet inner voice that was once drowned out by constant noise. At first, the silence feels heavy, like an endless night. But slowly, something shifts. The stillness starts to feel sacred. You stop rushing to fill it. You stop fearing it. And that's when you realize Solitude isn't empty time. It's sacred space. It's where your next chapter begins forming, molecule by molecule, in the unseen realm. The chosen ones are not meant to fear aloneness, because in this solitude, their spirit is recalibrated. Every unanswered message becomes a meditation. Every quiet night becomes an initiation. You're being taught what few ever learn, how to be whole without needing a crowd to confirm your worth. That's strength, that's power, and that's what separates you from the rest. This period also awakens a deeper hunger, not for noise or attention, but for truth. You begin craving conversations that feed your spirit, not your ego. You start yearning for people who feel like peace, not performance. And this craving reshapes your vibration completely. The world will start responding to that new signal, slowly at first, then suddenly. So when you find yourself sitting alone this week, understand what's happening. You're not stuck. You're being sculpted. Every moment of solitude is chiseling away the parts of you that once settled for less. The chosen ones don't grow in crowds. They grow in quiet rooms. And when the doors open again, you'll realize that the silence didn't take anything from you. It gave you everything you needed to recognize what's real. Once you start to notice the quiet, it's impossible to unhear it. That's when the separation begins, not with a dramatic argument or sudden betrayal, but with a soft, almost invisible drift. People stop calling. Texts go unanswered. The faces that once surrounded you begin to blur into the background. For many of the chosen ones, this is the most painful phase because it feels personal. But it's not rejection, it's resonance. You're not being pushed out, you're being pulled higher. Think of it this way. When your spirit changes frequency, not everyone can hear your signal anymore. It's like trying to tune an old radio. Some stations vanish the moment you move the dial even slightly. You haven't lost those connections. You've simply moved out of range. The universe has started filtering your environment. Every friendship, every bond, every habit that no longer aligns with your purpose begins to dissolve naturally. It's not because those people were bad, it's because your vibration no longer fits inside the same container. This process feels like loss, but it's actually refinement. The silence isn't empty, it's filled with movement, invisible energy working behind the scenes to separate what's temporary from what's true. The chosen ones experience this as emotional friction. They sense when a conversation no longer flows, when laughter feels forced, when their presence feels misunderstood. These are signals from the universe, whispering, "It's time to shift." And that's the tricky part, because the ego will always crave connection, even if it's out of alignment. You'll want to chase, to explain, to prove your worth. But this isn't a season for chasing. It's a season for listening. When you stop fighting the silence, you begin to understand its purpose. You're being purified through distance. You're being prepared for new frequencies that demand a lighter heart and a clearer field. So when people fade, let them. When the room empties, stay still. You're not losing your tribe. You're making space for it. The next chapter can't arrive until the old energy clears out. And that's exactly what this quiet separation is doing. It's rewriting your environment from the inside out, creating the stillness needed for alignment to find you. As the silence deepens, something else begins to take shape. A feeling that everything around you is being rearranged with uncanny precision. It's as if invisible hands are moving the pieces of your life, closing certain doors and nudging you toward others. This isn't chaos, it's a filter, and the chosen ones are the ones feeling it first. You might notice opportunities slipping away without explanation. Invitations you expected never arrive. People you thought would stay suddenly vanish from your timeline. It feels like rejection, but in reality, it's refinement. A cosmic algorithm sorting through your reality and removing everything that's out of tune with your next chapter. You're being realigned, even if it feels like you're being erased. This hidden filter works like gravity in reverse. Instead of pulling things in, it pushes away everything that can't survive your next elevation. When your spirit upgrades, your world has to reorganize. Relationships, jobs, and routines that once made sense start to feel heavy or hollow. And while your mind fights to hold on, your energy quietly lets go. That's the filter doing its job, silently separating density from destiny. For the chosen ones, this is where confusion turns into clarity. You begin to realize that the people who left didn't abandon you. They were released. The things that fell apart weren't mistakes. They were expired alignments. You didn't fail them, and they didn't fail you. You simply reached the end of a frequency that could no longer hold your light. It's like shedding skin, painful but necessary. The universe is asking you to trust what you can't yet see, that the empty spaces left behind are placeholders for something extraordinary. And if you pay attention, you'll notice a pattern. Every time something leaves, peace eventually follows. That's how you know the filter is working. What's meant for you won't slip through. What's not meant for you can't stay, no matter how tightly you hold on. This stage tests patience, but it also builds faith. Because after everything is stripped away, you begin to realize that you never truly lost anything essential. You only lost what was blocking your alignment. Something incredible happens once the filter completes its work. Your energy starts speaking for you. People can sense you before they even understand you. Some feel drawn to you instantly, while others back away without knowing why. This is the moment when the chosen ones realize that their presence alone has become powerful. Energy doesn't lie. It reveals, exposes, and amplifies. When your vibration rises, it naturally challenges what's hidden in others. Your calm will agitate the anxious. Your authenticity will unsettle the fake. Your clarity will expose confusion. This isn't arrogance, it's spiritual chemistry. Your aura becomes a mirror that forces others to see what they've been avoiding. And not everyone is ready for that kind of reflection. That's why, suddenly, some people who once adored your company now avoid your gaze. They feel something they can't explain, a discomfort that comes from facing their own shadows through your light. The chosen ones often mistake this for rejection, but it's actually reverence. The energy you carry demands honesty, and honesty isn't easy for everyone. But here's the beauty in that. Your glow doesn't just reveal others, it refines you. You start to understand that your peace is sacred and your time is precious. You no longer chase approval because you've learned to value alignment. That's when your world starts to reorganize again, not through loss, but through resonance. New people appear, drawn not by curiosity, but by compatibility. These connections feel lighter, cleaner, and real. It's a power shift you can't fake. You speak less, but your silence carries authority. You show up quietly, but the atmosphere changes when you do. That's what happens when energy replaces effort. And this shift, this newfound magnetism, isn't a coincidence. It's a reward. The universe trusts you with visibility only after you've proven you can handle invisibility. So if your presence feels heavier lately, if people seem unsure how to receive you, know this: it's not because you've become too much. It's because you've finally become enough. You're radiating at a frequency that can't be faked or diluted, and the world around you is still learning how to meet you there. When solitude becomes your teacher, protection becomes your reward. This is the stage where the chosen ones begin to see that what felt like rejection was actually divine intervention. The people who ghosted you, they were rerouted. The opportunities that vanished, they were blocked for your safety. Every closed door was a shield in disguise. You might not realize it right away, but your guardians, whether you call them ancestors, angels, or guides, have been working overtime. They've been rearranging your path with precision, keeping you from rooms that look promising but hold hidden traps. This is not superstition. It's energetic law. When your vibration rises, you become a target for energies that crave your light but can't sustain it. So the universe steps in to protect the chosen ones by creating distance. Even if it feels like loss, think of it like spiritual air traffic control. You're being held in a holding pattern until the runway ahead is clear. If you landed too early, if you forced yourself into connections not meant for you, the impact could have been painful. So those divine delays, those frustrating pauses, were acts of grace. And here's the twist. The protection isn't passive, it's active. Sometimes it takes the form of miscommunication that saves you from entanglement. Sometimes it's sudden exhaustion that stops you from going somewhere you weren't meant to be. The universe doesn't always say no in words. It says no through interference. For the chosen ones, this season feels like divine quarantine. But not because they're unworthy, because they're rare. You're not being hidden from the world. You're being reserved for alignment. The same way a gem is kept in darkness before it's revealed, your energy is being safeguarded until the right connections arrive. Once you understand that, peace replaces panic. You stop begging for clarity from people who can't give it, and you start trusting the timing of what's unseen. Every no begins to sound like a yes whispered by the universe itself. So if things have slowed down as the week ends, take comfort in that pause. It's not rejection, it's redirection with purpose. You're not being kept out, you're being kept safe. And that brings you to the most beautiful realization of all. You've been reserved, not forgotten, not ignored, but set aside with intention. The chosen ones are never left behind. They're held until the timing aligns. Think of it like a seat in Destiny's theater, with your name written on it. No one else can sit there, no matter how long it stays empty. This is what the middle of October truly represents, the final clearing before your reservation is revealed. The silence, the gaps, the slow days, they're not meaningless. They're space being cleared for the people and opportunities that can actually hold your frequency. The noise of the old world has been turned down, so that the sound of your future can finally be heard. You've probably noticed it already. New faces entering quietly. People you've never met before but feel strangely familiar. These aren't coincidences, they're confirmations. The chosen ones attract what reflects their growth, not their wounds. And as your vibration refines, your entire circle begins to reformat. Your energy field, that invisible aura that once absorbed everything around it, now has boundaries. It doesn't allow easy access anymore. Only those who resonate with your truth can pass through. This is why you felt invisible to some and magnetic to others. The gate is spiritual, and the key is frequency. So don't mistake this reservation for punishment. It's proof that the universe considers you sacred territory. The same way temples, mountains, and sacred spaces were once restricted to only a few, your energy now carries that same sanctity. You're not being isolated, you're being sanctified. And soon, as the energy of October unfolds, this reservation will turn into revelation. The people meant for your journey will appear effortlessly, drawn to your energy like gravity. You won't have to chase, convince, or prove. What's aligned will recognize you instantly. So hold your peace. The silence isn't a void, it's divine order. You are the table that's being set. You are the invitation being prepared. And when it's time, the universe will say, now. And now, as the time closes, something powerful settles over the horizon. The quiet that once haunted you now hums with purpose. The loneliness that felt unbearable now feels sacred. Because you've finally seen what this season was about. Evolution through emptiness. Every chosen one has walked through the fire of solitude. And on the other side of that silence, they discover sovereignty. You've learned how to survive without applause. You've learned that peace isn't found in a crowd. It's created within yourself. You've learned that when the world grows silent, your spirit grows louder. That is mastery. That is alignment. This entire journey, the separation, the filter, the stillness, the protection, was never about breaking you down. It was about stripping away everything that couldn't recognize your light. The middle of October is not just a date. It's a declaration. It says, you've been chosen, refined, and made ready for what's next. October won't be gentle. It'll be generative. The things that once delayed you will dissolve. The relationships that survived this purification will deepen. The ones that didn't were never meant to stay. The chosen ones now walk lighter, clearer, and more grounded than ever before. But this story isn't just about them. It's about you. If you felt the ache of distance, the silence of lost connections, or the weight of solitude, you are part of this transformation. You're not being excluded from life. You're being elevated above the noise of it. So as you step into the next chapter, remember this. Loneliness was never your punishment. It was your preparation. It made you sensitive to truth, allergic to falseness, and ready for alignment. You've been trained by silence to recognize the sound of real connection when it finally arrives. And now, that's your power. That's your gift. That's what makes you one of the chosen ones. Before you go, I want to hear from you, genuinely. Have you felt this shift too? Have you noticed the quiet around you changing shape? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I read every one, and I'd love to know what this season has been teaching you.